The Behringer Ultra Metal UM300 is a distortion pedal designed to replicate the Boss Metal Zone MT2 affordably. This pedal is built in a decent plastic Boss style enclosure and has buffered bypass switching. It can be optionally 9V DC powered or 9V battery powered. This pedal costs $30 on Sweetwater and Amazon at the time of this recording. Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about the Behringer Ultra Metal pedal. A few things to get out of the way. I have a 3D print running in the background. It's a little noisy. I'm sorry about that. I can't stop it. Unfortunately, it's actually very important. The other thing is that there's a ringing coming from like the power filtering issue with the looper pedal that I'm using. So I'm going to have to find a different looper pedal, but I can't really afford it. So we're just going to have to deal with it. To the best of my knowledge, this pedal is a kind of clone to more affordably make the Boss Metal Zone more available to people and, for them to make money. But that's besides the point. So let's just get right into this pedal. Since there are so many controls, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate every option on this pedal, obviously. So let's just get started. We're going to have everything set to noon, including the volume. So all the EQs are set to noon, and the distortion we're going to crank up a little bit each time. Let's start with some clean tones. We're going to be using the Squier Strat. Alright, there's a clean tone. Let's turn the pedal on with distortion all the way down. Alright, so the pedal is kind of weak. It's not gating my playing, but it's definitely not, it's making the sustain a lot harder to achieve at this level. But no one's gonna use it at this level, right? So let's turn the distortion up to 3 o'clock. And by that I mean 9 o'clock. Alright, so we already have some substantial distortion. Let's turn on the loop. Alright, pretty good. So, this is already a usable tone. You can pretty much just stop it there. This is a great modern metal tone pedal, especially compared to the Behringer heavy metal, which was quite the trip in terms of EQs and stuff, which maybe this one will have some crazy EQs. I actually haven't experimented with this one too much beforehand, even though it's more of a normal distortion. So, let's turn the distortion up to noon. Alright, so to me, I'm only hearing, a little bit of loudness, some distortion, but of course it sounds way different in the room than it does in the microphone, and the microphone's way closer, so you can hear a lot more than I can at the moment. So let's do the loop. So, like I said, just a little louder, a little more distorted. Overall, it already seems like it's just a great distortion. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to say about distortion. It all kind of sounds the same, unless you have crazy EQs like the other one. But, you know, if it sounds different, it probably sounds bad. Let's turn the distortion to 3 o'clock now. Ooh. You can hear that humming getting louder. So right here we're getting a very rich, it's just a great distortion tone to me, really. It's awesome. It's because of the volume boost, it helps me hear it better. First of all, the other ones are a little harder to hear, but oh well. Let's do the loop. So, solid tones. Let's just turn the distortion all the way up. So, it's still not really like, it seems like the distortion doesn't get too awfully crazy. It seems like even at the maximum setting it stays pretty controllable, but we'll see once we get into some of the tones here. Let's do the loop, and then we'll move on to the tones. Yeah, no complaints. It's just overall a great, like, starter distortion pedal because it just gets you that nice heavy tone that you'd want if you're looking to get into metal playing. And if you just leave everything at noon, you pretty much have a solid tone, even if the distortion's at noon, really. But, you know, there's lots of control that's available on this pedal, including a mid-frequency changer, which I don't exactly understand. At least I haven't messed with it, so, you know, I've never had the opportunity to mess with it, so I don't really understand it. Let's get into it. So, because I can't demonstrate every tone available with this pedal, but let's just try and do some general concepts. So we already have the bass tone here. Let's leave the mid-frequency at middle, but let's turn the mids and highs up. get turned off. Holy crap. So that's not even with the mids all the way up. Holy crap. That is certainly a tone. Now I want to try and turn them up individually and see what happens. Let's do it. Alright, I like my mids, but I don't think I like my mids that much. So, a thing that was really cool on the Behringer heavy metal was turning the mids down and then boosting the bass. I want to see what happens when I do that. I'll turn the highs down a bit. We'll see what happens. Come on. It's really hard to control these knobs because of how small and close together they are. Oh my god. Alright, well I guess that's the ultimate mid scoop, you know? Holy crap. I think you gotta have a little mids in here. Alright, well, that certainly makes it loud, doesn't it? it adds a whole new feel because it adds so much bass. So you got a lot of rumble going on. And then you got the grating tone of the highs. Alright, well, so yeah, ugh, I don't know what to say. It's so much like the heavy metal. The EQ is just wild. It's so powerful, which can be, it could be a plus or a minus depending on who's using it. So yeah, you would want to use this thing with care. The controls here. All right, I've turned everything back to noon. Let's turn. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn back the highs and the lows and try and push the mids a little bit and see what the mid frequency can sound like, can do, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, it's an interesting control to have, because basically what it does is it just pushes the mid control out of the mids, because if you turn it all the way down, then you're in real bass territory, and it doesn't take long to get into bassy territory, and it doesn't take long to get into the very trebly territory as well. So I don't exactly get the point of the mid control, the mid frequency control, because then you're just basically changing your mids into basically a second parametric EQ control on the highs or lows. So it's a bit of a strange concept. I don't know how other people use it. If you have a metal zone or a heavy metal that you use and you happen to be watching this, do you actually use the mid frequency control? Do you leave it in the mids like it probably should be, or do you push it one way or another? Let me know if that knob is useful to you, because it certainly wouldn't be to me, unfortunately, because I'm kind of a normal dude and I don't do too many weird tones with screeching highs or blaring lows. I honestly don't know what else to do with the pedal. Let's just mess around, you know? Alright, so I didn't want this to go on super long. I don't know how long it's been. Probably too long as usual. It's either people want it, you know, it's either too long or it's too short and you don't play enough or you play too much. Can't win. Either way. So, should you buy this pedal? Hell yeah, you should buy this pedal. These pedals have gone up a little bit in price, but they're still only $30, which is better than any pedal you can get, especially when they're new. When people try and resell these, they sell them for basically new because you can't even bother. If you bother to sell this, you can't make money on it, which is why I think it's kind of dumb when people sell them. Same with like Boss Distortions, because then people always want to sell them for $50 and then you have to pay $10 for shipping. So then by at that point, you might as well go down to Guitar Center or Sam Ash or whatever and go and buy a new one. So yeah, this pedal is an awesome distortion pedal. It gives you great modern metal tones with everything at noon, but it's hard to adjust your EQs because it pushes it real hard, real fast. As you can see, I was trying to like add a little bit of mids just to make it a little something, change up the tone a little bit. But if I turned it any farther than like the 1% that I did, it just gets to be this it's not unusable, but it gets to be this just crazy, gnarly, weird tone. And it's just not a regular distortion that people would want to use. So, do I recommend this pedal? Of course. Can you get good sounds out of it? Of course. Can you get weird sounds out of it? Absolutely. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Comment what more you thought I should have done with this pedal, or if I did enough, tell me I did a good job, because not enough people do that at all. If you enjoy guitar and drum related content, then consider subscribing. We also do some other stuff mixed in here and there. Just recently doing some 3D printer videos because they were expensive. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say. So I'm gonna say, bye-bye.